Welcome to CBC Alumni Focus. I'm Rob Stagenborg, the Alumni Director at CBC High School. And I'll tell you what, I'm not sure I could be more excited about this particular guest. I know I say that every week, but I'll tell you what, if you lived in St. Louis and you were a young guy in the late 1970s, the name Weldon Ledbetter is a name that you knew and you knew well because he was one of the best football players in the St. Louis area, much less the best football player ever to step foot on CBC. Weldon Ledbetter, welcome to CBC Alumni Focus.
Outstanding, Rob. I appreciate the opportunity and the very kind introduction. So I appreciate it greatly, partner.
You know, we'll get into, you played for Barry Switzer, you played, in the NFL, but certainly you played for one of the greats of CBC, Brian Haggerty. And, talk about that senior year, which was so special for you, set a lot of records. You're the Globe Democrat player of the player of the year for the Globe. And just talk about that season and how special it was for you guys and your team.
It was very exciting. As I've always said, Coach Brian Haggerty was a tremendous motivator. He definitely knew how to assist his players and be able to speak to us with a great deal of enthusiasm that really fired us up to go out there and be combative and hopefully be successful out on the field. We had some very good team members, very great ones as I would characterize them as. We had obviously Tim Shannon, Michael Ashley. I understand he passed, God rest his soul. We had Tim Lochneck, Rick Heinrichs, just a host of players that were willing to put it all on the line and make it happen. So it was a great season. I mean, when I entered into CBC, or at least that last year, I didn't know what was going to happen. I'm just out there trying to give it my very best. And I was very, very blessed and surprised to be able to gain the success that I gained. I mean, I just was like, wow to myself. So, I had a fantastic time, and we just had a good team, very focused on trying to win.
Now, take us back to that time when you were in 8th grade and everyone's kind of wanting you to come to their school. And what was it about CBC? Did you have friends? Did you have family? Did you know people?
No, actually. My mother, God rest her soul, she saw a lot of good in myself, a lot of talent. She didn't really know from an athletic standpoint about what I was capable of. She just knew that I was talented. I worked hard in the elementary school. I ended up with straight A's, got a few awards recognized just in the public schools 8th grade. And so she said, I'm going to do something different with you because my other brothers and sisters had gone to the public school system. And so she had taken me over to CBC. We met this just so gentle old gentleman by the name of Brother Augustine. Brother Augustine was the principal at the time, and he sat down with my mom and myself, and we evaluated myself and said, just try to understand the kind of character that I had, and he gave us the green light to come aboard CBC. So. That's how it all kind of started. Just something that my mother had a desire in me that felt that I could do more. And, she was absolutely right with the things and success that I've had at CBC, how it's prepared me for college, the relationships that I've had. It's just been tremendous. And the brotherhood, even up until this very day, I have a chance to meet with a lot of my classmates. I really enjoyed basically all of them. We had a fantastic time at CBC. They made me laugh so much, and I enjoy a good laugh. And them guys can supply me with plenty of laughs. So I really enjoyed CBC.
And that was really such an interesting time in the history of CBC because, it was really the start of a renaissance and a comeback for the school with, some construction, the new gymnasium, the whole campus started to really take shape. And obviously, the rest of the story of us, moving out to West County. So, but to be, a high school kid in St. Louis in that late 70s, mid 70s, talk to us about it because it wasn't an easy time, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, it was not. But, like I said, especially from the background I came from, a single parent household, had 6 other siblings. So it's a total of 7 of us. And so it's very, very difficult. And I remember times, my mom couldn't afford the tuition there at the school. And I remember many evenings afterwards, mopping the floors there at CBC, picking up the trash can on sometimes during the summer months. I would work cutting the grass with Coach Haggerty. And that's how I really got a chance to know him even better and had a much better relationship with Coach Haggerty. And just being around the school and really getting a chance to understand the school and how it operates and the players. Coach Devoto, and God rest his soul, I understand from his wife that he passed. He also was instrumental. He had worked there as well. I worked with several different friends. I think Mr. Gambarda. He was before me, but we had a great time. A guy, Brian O'Neill, he was a crazy man. I know he's passed. And Tim Kane. We had a fantastic time working there at the school. But, in the 70s, things were challenging. But, we learned, and I've learned to persevere. We continue to work hard and do all we can to put things aside and some of the challenges we face to try to be successful. And so I'm very happy that the great component for me is that obviously having a relationship with God and knowing how important he is to my life. And a lot of that was even deeply instilled with attending CBC, with the brotherhood and that religious commitment. So a lot of positive things for me that God steered me in a very good direction that gave me a very optimistic and positive viewpoint of life and what things had to offer. So there were some ups and downs, but for the most part, I see the glass as half full. So it was very good.
That's great. Weldon, one of my favorite stories, and I've been associated with CBC, professionally after, graduating there for many years. And I like to tell the story about the time when you came back for a visit and you and I just happened to kind of pass each other in the hallway, and you and I went back over to Clem Field, and I just remember the look and the thrill, and just it all was coming back to me,
yeah, man.
And it just was rushing back, and I don't think I really appreciated it till after, many years after that moment. That right. And you spent a lot of time on that field. You scraped your knees, you tore up your body, you hurt yourself, and that field was really special to you. Talk about those memories of Friday night at CBC and the place being nuts.
Yeah, it was a very, very fun time for me, being a part of CBC and on Friday nights and Saturdays and going out and battling on the field. Our locker room always had this funny smell to it. It wasn't bad, but it was just a smell that you would just never forget about the experience and how things were there at CBC. And just in the locker room and, the ambience of going out and, looking at the audience and, it seemed to grow over the season as we continued to win football games. We began to see more people in the stands and watching us play. And so it was a fun time, a good experience. It was just, brings back just great memories. Just think about how we went out there and battled as a team and fought, and people like Tim Shannon, like I said, and Lashley and guys in the huddle. I still think back even my junior year, like people like Tim Cantwell, how he sacrificed himself, and Kevin Smith and Chuck Pro, those people that were very dedicated. Mike Kopsky, I recall seeing Mike Kopsky during my collegiate days when he was over at Kansas. So some very, very good players. Lewis Montgomery. I mean, I can go on and on and on. We had a great time, and I was able to observe and learn from some of the vets who later on left, and was able to take what I learned from them to be able to help be successful out in the football field.
Again, if you're just joining us, we are very honored to have Weldon Ledbetter, class of 1979 graduate, and really one of the all-time greats of CBC football, one of the all-time great people. Weldon, obviously you went on to play for Barry Switzer at Oklahoma, obviously a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and then you're blessed to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right. I know it's not fair to you, but can you talk a little bit about those experiences in a few minutes for us?
I tell you what, I recall my deciding to go to the University of Oklahoma. There was a person there who really sent me a lot of letters and influenced me in a great way that encouraged me to attend the University of Oklahoma. And I think it was a good decision. I know I still have people with sour grapes about thinking I should have went to Mizzou. but being a part, when I went to Oklahoma, you know, one of the things I remember about Missouri, it was always cold. When I had gone to Oklahoma, it was like kind of warm, and even during the winter months. And so also with Coach Switzer, great recruiter, just knew how to relate to his players, his coaching staff. I felt very, very good. You know, the thing about Oklahoma and Missouri, when I had gone to visit the University of Missouri, and they treated me with first class, and put me up at the facilities, flew me on a Learjet, blah, 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 went up there and got a chance to meet some of the players like Howard Richards, and others that just met when I was visiting there. It was a good visit. It was just the thing is, I liked the atmosphere of Oklahoma. I like what Coach Switzer had communicated with the opportunities I had there at the university. And the players that I've met, I actually was shown around by J.C. Watts. And, you know, just, he wasn't as famous as he is today, but, you know, he was a pretty decent football player back during that time. So it was some good players, Billy Sims, Marcus Dupree, just a lot of great players I had a chance to meet and work with and go to a fine school as well.
About the Tampa Bay team experience, obviously the team was a little bit different. Winning
it was indeed. It was indeed. You know, I tell you what, that's probably one of my only regrets is that, you know, coming from the University of Oklahoma, I was my mindset changed to where I wanted to be more focused on trying to be in the business world because of some of the success I was hoping to have at Oklahoma didn't have. So it kind of discouraged me to a degree. And lo and behold, I ended up getting drafted by Tampa Bay. Well, you know, I went there, many of the training camps, and they were like, man, the scouts were saying, we look forward to you having a 10-year career. And mentally, you know, when I just didn't like the game, I loved the game. And in order to play that sport, you must really love football. And at that time, my mentality or a focus had changed to where I wasn't that interested. I ended up, you know, being drafted by them and had gone through some challenges. Was picked up by the Houston Oilers. I got the same thing when I was there with Earl Campbell, Warren Moon. And I remember Earl Campbell looking at me and saying, man, you have got a lot of talent. And they thought very highly of me and thought I would be the heir apparent. And I'm being very seriously from the coaching staff. The thing was, I had this mental thing in me where I just didn't want to do this. Every time it got to the difficult components of it, of just kind of going through the training camp, it was like, man, I'd rather do something different. Well, when I got a chance to do something different, life wasn't so easy. And I thought that I wanted to go back and play football. Then I had a great desire. I ended up playing with the New Jersey Generals of the United States Football League. And Donald Trump was the owner of the team back during those days. And so we had very success, played with Herschel Walker and Doug Flutie. And some of my other collegiate teammates were a part of that team. And so it was we had great success. I remember going to the playoffs and we had a great time. So, you know, I went through my football career, had gone through some ups and downs and very fortunate at the very end to gain some success and be able to play in the league and you know, so I'm happy. I'm happy with my success, but I think it could have been a lot more with some different choices, but you know, we live and we learn and we move on. So,
you know, I just gonna say, if you would have been 10 years later, you and I would be owning every car dealership in Norman right now. You know?
For sure.
You know, to have to do nothing. But anyway, you've really forged yourself a great career. You're working the financial services industry. Give
Right.
people an idea of what you're doing these days.
Well, I'm a regional government manager. I cover probably all of Central Florida, where I work with municipalities with regards to treasury services, with regards to commercial municipal lending, as well as managing their deposits. With these entities, the funds, particularly in the state of Florida, have to be handled by what they call a qualified public depository, which our company is. And, you know, the difference in, you know, you and I, when we get our FDIC coverage, the municipalities are a little different. For us, we get $250,000. For them, all of their money has got to be secured, collateralized, and secured. So that's kind of some of the stuff that I work on, really going out and developing relationships with the finance teams of various municipalities throughout my territory, and being able to sell to them our treasury services, along with municipal loans, depository services. And so I've had a tremendous amount of success in the industry. I finished this year as tops in the state of Florida with regards to my performance. So I was very pleased with my success, and it's a very enjoyable job, and I've just had a great time. And once again, it's one of those things I thank God for.
You know, one question I always give the alumni, I give them an opportunity to kind of give me a little story or anecdote about something that maybe happened in the classroom with maybe a particular brother or a coach, and we get a lot of great answers for you. Who are some of the people in the classroom that kind of made it kind of fun for you?
Let me think. It's been a bunch of them, to be honest with you. I think about so many of them. I think about the times with Tim Shannon and Nigel Northern. We were in our chemistry class, and the craziness that used to ensue there. I think about it in some of the sometimes I call myself being spent in detention, and Mr. Landgraf and how he goes and he talks and says things to people. Very, very, very tough guy, but I know he had a loving heart. I think about Brother Michael Jordan, and being in his classroom, and times when Michael Jordan was very intimidating. And you better make sure you had your work done. And if you didn't have your work done, Brother Michael Jordan was coming after you. And I watched him go after a few people. And I was like, he said, he told us, I want you to do 100 problems tonight. Well, you can rest assured I had my 100 problems done. and so it was just, there's a lot of positive experiences I've had there at the school, with the various, not only teammates, but also just the student population there. Just a great deal of fun. It was just fun for me. That's all I can remember. There's been some downtime we think about, but the fun times far outweigh the bad, the small bad that I experienced.
Well, I'll tell you, you would definitely be proud of the school today that we've, been working through the pandemic, and the administration's been keeping everybody safe and making sensible decisions. The students have been really showing a different kind of spirit for each other and compassion. And obviously that's something that's on message and on point. But certainly we as a community are very proud of you and what you've done and where you've gone in life, and always representing CBC. And we appreciate your loyalty, but also, just want to let you know that we're very proud of you and what you've done for yourself and for us.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, I owe CBC a great deal with the success I've had in my life, the foundation they've established with regards to the schooling, the discipline, people like Colonel Patton, and he give me a knee in the butt every now and then. Get yourself together, Mr. Ledbetter, and things like that you don't forget. But it was great because it helped me be a better person today. Exactly.
We've had everybody in that era has a Coach Patton story for sure, and some of them most of them aren't for family viewing. But Weldon, listen, I'm going to go ahead and stop our interview. Appreciate your time. I'm going to have you hold for just a second. Everyone, that's Weldon Ledbetter, class of 1979, and appreciate your time, and thank you for all you've done for CBC.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.